guys? Moosey Crypto here. I'm going to go over some TA and what's going on with Bitcoin right now. Now, if you don't understand what I'm doing in this video, I have a bunch of videos that I'm going to be making and posting on here all the time. Strategies, how to use certain tools, how to use TradingView, what everything means, everything you need to know. But if you already know that, you want to hop into some advanced stuff, I'm going to just run through what's about to happen, or if you want to learn the advanced stuff, just hop into the Discord. Link is going to be right here in this video. Click on that link and let's head over to it and let's get going. So overall, it's going to look super messy at first, right? We're on the 15-minute time frame. But one, let's take a look on our daily time frame, right? Bitcoin finally reached down to its 17,553 in that area on its 78.6 fib. Its Fibonacci level was started from the bottom of the COVID dip to the very, very top of where we ended up, right? Around 69,000. Now, if you draw the Fibonacci, we can see these levels play, right? We had our 0.5 fib that bounced up, caught a couple times, catching, finally snapped. Well, the next level, of course, we're going to go down to our Fibonacci level. Now, not only is that near an area of support that you guys can see, but it's also on the golden pocket, which is a massive support, and you can see how many times we've had to bounce up from our golden pocket, accumulating in that zone. Now, when that finally snapped, the next level you think about in Fibonacci is your 78.6. Now, with me, I like to call that the whale level. So when I say the whale level, what that means is people with lots of money, if they don't like the golden pocket area, they want the price lower in order to gain more money in the market, they're going to drop it to that next level, try to snag as much up as they can there. As you can see, that huge reaction that we had was around 23%. Now, you think of trading, 100% is double your money. So you're about 20% of your bag, and that's without using leverage, and leverage is a whole nother thing. I don't recommend it just yet if you're new, but if you're doing this for a while, you're taking advanced classes, then for sure, if you know how to do leverage, do it. Again, non-financial advice, none of this is, but I just wanted to show you some quick crypto TA and what's going on. So if we pop down here to our levels, what we did was get our previous high, never reached up there, right? Now what we could see is a ginormous inverted head and shoulder, okay? Questionable at the same time, but I just wanted you to see it, right? If you can see this on our head and shoulder, you have your left shoulder, you're coming down to create your head, which we did, complete your neckline. Now, in order to create your right shoulder close, what you'll have to do is get your neckline from, green wicks to green wicks, like how I'd like to draw them. You can do bodies, topics, however you do them. Everything depends on how you are as a trader. But what you want to see is once you get your wicks, you copy it and you'll drag it down to your shoulder. And this is typically where you want to see it close or come down once it retests the neckline to create that right shoulder. Now you can see here, we do kind of have almost a tweezer here. So if you want to ignore it, you can and drag it up here. And you can technically consider this being its right shoulder, right? But for me, this is how I'm going to draw it. And we actually failed to close it. We failed to hit our right shoulder line. Now it's still valid. You can still say it's valid, but in my opinion, we did fail to hit that, right? However, we did bounce from our first bounce, our bottom of our head to the top of our neck on the right side. You can draw your fib line because that's the most recent push, right? So what you want to see is the retracements down to catch those certain levels that I went with earlier. Now, we can see that this tried to catch on its 50, okay? Now, if I'm going to stick to this, what I would wanted to see was after it hit its 50, and they're going to count it as a shoulder, it needed to snap this neckline. And it tried, right? You can see this massive fake out. Now, you can see fake outs, you can usually put them together with, they're called tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms, when a full candle is followed, a full bull candle is followed by a full bear candle or other way around, and they're engulfing candles, right? Massive candles that engulf each other. Those are usually when you see tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms. But so if we go over some TA right now, not only did that tweezer top hit a fake out on the way up, right? Well, it also hit a fake out or created a new pattern, not a fake out, it created a new pattern, which again, head and shoulders, super easy chart pattern to learn, but they play out more than you think. So if we come here and we draw our head and shoulders on this 4 hour, right? We have completed this neckline completely. We've completed this entire head and shoulders on the 4 hour. You can see that left shoulder, head higher, right shoulder lower. So if we can see that, well, what has to happen in patterns? What has to happen in anything in the market? We always retest. I'm going to lock that into your head. Retesting is key to absolutely everything in the market. So what we can see right now, if we come down to a lower time frame, we have actually come up to hit our retest, and you can see this wicks, perfect wicks, right, hitting up on this retest. Well, again, this is for people who are not scalping right now. This is more for people who don't have time to look at the charts all day. Now, if you want that, of course, I can give that to you, but let's go over some other reasons and why I can give that to you rather than, me just giving you some quick TA. But for people who are just, working and they can't look at the charts all day, this is more long-term, long-time frames that we can see. So if we're looking at it, this is trying to retest to complete measured moves. Now, if you want to measure the pattern and the distance of how far it'll go on a head and shoulders, to be safe, you can get your very, very, very max point if you do wicks to wicks, right? You can get your max point and see that you'll come back down to 20,000. Well, if I'm going to be safe, I'm going to get profits out early because I don't want to miss it. So if I go body to body, what I do is I help myself secure profits, because if it wicks past, it could reverse at any moment. But when I have it like this, I'm trying to secure as much profits as I can, which that'll take us down to this last point here, which is a little support line that you can see right in your measured move. Well, not only does that support line fall onto a 3.82 fib, it's going to have a reaction from that point, right? Now, I'm not saying this is a turnaround point because, again, there are bigger pictures in this entire thing. Well, from this 4-hour chart, we can see we had our boom, boom, head and shoulders up top, went down. We didn't reach our measure move yet. All we're doing is coming up to retest. Now let's go fill this wick. And what we'll do is try to fill this wick, get down to this point, and see a reaction from here. Do I think it will hold? Personally, no, I do not think it'll hold, because I'm looking at a bigger picture. Not only do I see this going on, well, at the same time, what we're doing from this retest is creating a ginormous bear flag. Well, ginormous in an hourly frame, at least a 15. So if we draw and we do this bear flag, well, our bear flag measure movement from the break makes you want to say we're about to try to snap that level, right? And that's just another thing you can look at. Well, if we're trying to snap it, that's going to give you some confidence that you have a measure move that looks like it's trying to go below. That's going to make the market try to go, oh, it went below. Now we start panic selling and all that, and it causes, a ripple effect down. Well, not only can you look at this pattern overall, we can go over back to our 4-hour, zoom out a little bit, right? And what you can see is we still haven't touched our golden pocket. Now, our golden pocket actually falls on a very nice resistance, support line, which is kind of a retest of a double bottom here. And it already retested back here. So you can expect to see a reaction around this golden pocket as well. But do I think that's a turnaround spot? Not necessarily, because of the bigger picture. So we come back out to our 4-hour again, like I've been doing. If we're going to continuation on this ginormous drop, well, you can bear flag this as well, right? So if you want to bear flag this, because it does look like it's trying to form a bear flag, which is basically bull traps, what you think of them as. But a bear flag is you're taking the distance from top to bottom. I ignore this because it is a tweezer bottom, so I'll do it to this green candle right here. And from the break of this bull flag, what you would see is that's actually bringing us straight down to the level that I've had marked for a while, which is around 13,831. Do I think it could go lower? Yes. Am I comfortable with buying in at 13,831 for a bit? Yes, I am. I play a little more leverage than I do spot, but I do both. But if this is how it's going, then they got this lined up really nice right now for what they want to do. They took it all the way to the apex of this triangle, of this bull flag, fake people out to make the market freak out, drop it, tweezer top us. Well, if it's tweezer topped, let's go retest a little bit and get the true candle. Well, you can see that true candle of the retest is actually our right shoulder, the head and shoulder that formed. So now that we have this, and I apologize about my voice, I'm losing my voice, but now that we have our true candle on the top, it also retested the top of this, right? The top of this triangle. Usually this is a bullish pattern, but usually the flags that form are continuations of what happened before it. And we know what happened before this. We dropped, massive drop. So if you want to take a look at this, this is what we're looking at is we just retested every single thing we need to do. Now you can hope for, double bottoms around here, around your 78 or 78.6 down here in your wicks. You can do that, and I'm sure you'll get reactions from it, if you're trying to trade and scalp and little swings, tiny ones, yeah, for sure. But if we look at the bigger picture, I'm going to clear this chart so you don't see anything, right? So if I go into my trading view and I hide everything from you, And it's going to look super empty, right? Or, let's pull up another chart. Let's go over to Bitcoin on, let's say, on Coinbase, for example, okay? So it looks a little clearer for you. I just want to show you, well, now that this pattern played out up top, this head and shoulders, and we snapped and we're retesting, trying to break downwards, it brings in another pattern inside another pattern, which if you're trading, this is one of the things you really want to focus on, okay? But if we're looking at this, did we see anything break above here? Did it hold? Did it wick? Yes. But wicks don't matter. They do in a certain sense, but when you're talking patterns, if something wicks above and doesn't close on the same time frame that you drew it, it doesn't count as a break. As you can see, these perfectly closed right under it, wicked up and came back down. Well, that puts us into a new perspective. Well, our new perspective, now you can see it on an empty chart, is actually a double top. And a double top is you got your push, you got your little bull, come down to retest your 50 around there, and you come back up to retest the current high. And it tried to break it, but right now, as you can see, it's failing. Well, if it's failing right now, what it wants to do is come back down to retest this middle. You can see some reaction from it. But if you're failing your top, you can assume that this line is most likely going to break from what the chart is telling us and the actions that it's giving us with price action. Now, if this snaps, double tops mean they come all the way back down to where they started. Not only is that telling you it's coming all the way back down to where it started, but everything has measured moves, right? Double tops do as well. So if I did this and I cleared this, if I gave you a measure move right now of what this would look like to be safe, remember body to body, just to be safe, ignore wicks. Well, if you stack this and this double bottom does form, you can see that 15,588, and I'm sure if we come back here, we'll find some support on 15,588. But I just wanted to overall show you that there's a couple patterns playing out and a couple possibilities. And if you're ignoring the bearish signs and you want to just look for bullish signs, what you can try to do is you can try to catch your 61.8, your golden pocket area in the fib line. You can try to catch your 50 again. Again, non-financial advice. I'm not telling you we're going down. I'm not telling you anything, but this is just a technical analysis of what's going on and what I see in the market right now. So if you want to play it, just be careful right now for what you're, make sure you lock in what you're seeing, because what you see, if I delete this fib channel from you guys, because we'll have some more advanced stuff that we'll go into, but you can see coming up, going to your 50, forming our bear flag, big downtrend, flagging up, bull trap, drop again the same distance as his pull. Now, if we drop the same distance as a pull, again, we've already discussed where that goes. It's not a bad idea to start taking some profits if you're playing this and you're scalping and you're playing some leverage. It's not a bad idea to take it from there. You can tell they tried to snap it once, came back in and closed above. So what do wicks mean is if it doesn't close below that, it's not going to matter. And I drew this on the 15-minute. Well, anything that doesn't close below that on the 15-minute, plain and simple, it's going to be a different pattern. There was a 5-minute pattern that I was going over earlier and I caught, and this is for scalpers, is this right here. Let's do this. This pattern right here is a bearish pattern. And I'll show it to you in a second. You'll see what I'm talking about. Is this right here is a absolute bearish pattern. Okay, and what you can see is at this point, what we did was snap down. Now, this is a measured move, right? So if we snap down, let's take our measured move of this triangle. Let's see where it went. Well, what do you know? It went right to our measured move, right? Well, it got bought straight back up. So you could have made money on the way down, but it got bought straight back up, back into the triangle, and then over. Well, if we do that same measured move, exactly what we know, and the distance of it, let's come here. Look at that measure move. It does the exact same thing, but on the top. Now, what they're trying to do is shake people out, or what they're trying to do is tell you that there is a different pattern in play. And so after that played out, you can delete this because you've already used it. It played on both sides, which is rare, but it did. Let's delete our measure moves that we had on that triangle, and let's draw a bigger triangle. Let's go up on time frames because, the lower the time frame, the less confident you should be in it. But it does tell you a lot of information on what's going on currently in the market. Higher time frames tell you a bit of different things. We've already discussed the 4-hour head and shoulders that's played. Now we're discussing this right here, which is our bear flag that's playing out right now. As you can see, it tried to get bought and go straight back up, got wicked at the 50 again and shut back down. And I just caught this right now, and I'll show you. Head and shoulders. I know it's obvious, right? But when you see markets come up and push from here, it goes up and then retest where it recently pushed, you can assume it's going to create a lower high. Now, if I do this for you, you'll see it plain and simple is head and shoulders. Here's your shoulder, left, boom, head, it's higher. Come down and it retested your neckline, as you can see, right? Come back up, still lower. Now, if we close below here, that head and shoulders is going to print, and you'll see it print, and you'll be like, oh, now I understand, and it's going to come back to try to fill this wick. Well, there's not a lot of support right here, right? Well, if it comes down back here, I can assume that since I have this pattern and it's trying to come back down, that it's going to play out this pattern right here, this head and shoulders, and then it's going to try to play out this entire thing again, because there's patterns inside of patterns, and that's how you can focus on your trades, is what patterns make these patterns work, and once they reach their measured moves, well, what pattern does that form next, or what pattern is it trying to follow next? And that's the best way we can look at it. But for Bitcoin, I'm going to say my technical analysis, I do believe we are going to come back down, and we're going to try to come all the way back down to where we started before this big push up. Now, when it comes back down there, if it gets there, I can tell you right now, it's most likely going to snap back downwards. You may see some upwards movement, of course, but what it wants to do is try to snap, because that's what our chart is telling us. So that's the technical analysis right now. If you guys have any questions, again, hop in the Discord. I'm always on. I'll respond to anybody who has questions, or if you want some one-on-one in the Discord call and I share my screen, whatever it is, feel free to hop in the Discord. And I can't wait to see you guys soon. If you have any questions, leave comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, follow and subscribe, everything you can do. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time. Catch you later.